Imagine a test. Now, this test essentially defines the course of your future, where you will be spending the next few years, what you will be doing, and who you will be spending the next few years with. Now, at first thought, most people would go, wow, this test sure does sound important. Well, the reality is, these tests are a part of everyday life. Teenagers and young adults, they go through it every day. It's simply something that teenagers go through. Fear, a concept so abstract it's hard to quantify, because fear appears differently for every single person. Yet the same feeling of something dropping in your gut and the adrenaline rush is universal for everyone. And as humans, more often than not, we let fear take control of us. It prevents us from carrying on with a cool, calm, and collected mind. But why? See, biologically speaking, fear is actually a collection of hormones released by a part of the brain when a stimuli is introduced. Although the feeling of fear is prolonged, and that's something that is just a part of how mankind is. So that raises the question, is fear something that can be truly removed, or is it just inherently within us? Personally, I like to see myself as someone with a very unusual relationship with fear. Now, I know what it sounds like. It sounds like I'm saying I'm fearless, but the reality is, like everyone else, I do feel it too. However, I do believe that fear only has as much power over you as you allow it to have. Basically, yes, fear only has as much power over you as you allow it to have. Yes, this is the moment where I could use self-depreciating humor to awkwardly fill the silence, but just give me a second. Oh no, this is not that great. Okay, so I have a question to ask you all. How many of you know what glossophobia is? Glossophobia? Yes, as expected, not a lot of you. Well, glossophobia is actually the fear of public speaking. And according to the National Institute of Mental Health in the United States of America, around 73% of the population suffers from this fear of public speaking. Big number, isn't it? But more interestingly so, more people actually suffer from the fear of public speaking than death itself. Wait, Jay, that can't be right. The fear of death, nothing can beat that. Well, that's actually how the human mind works. We often overthink so much, worrying about what people think of us, the way we sound, how people perceive us, if we're capable enough, and on and on and on. The list is endless. Yet what if we could take fear and turn it into our strength? See, fear does not need to be a purely negative thing. It can be a positive thing, because fear actually shows us what we care about and what we should do in a given situation. And an example of this is university application time. High school seniors like me, I'm sure you can all remember what we've been going through for the past few months. Not that fun. Parents, teachers, I'm sure you can remember the feeling too. As we anxiously open our emails every 5 minutes in anticipation of a university decision, the same streams of thoughts run in our minds. Will I get into the university I want to get into? Will I even get into university? We've all thought the same things. Yet what we don't realize is that these same streams of anxious thoughts and anxiety actually pushes us towards improving ourselves and actually working harder and achieving our goals. Moreover, and more importantly so, fear can also show us who we care about. Because some bonds are like a warm embrace, and the thought of missing out on that can be extremely daunting. But fear pushes you towards spending time with the people you care about. And more importantly, fear should also help you step out of your comfort zone. Skydiving? Yeah, sure, it does sound scary. I mean, you're jumping out of an airplane with nothing but a parachute. But the experience is unforgettable. So let fear push you out of your comfort zone, and let fear push you out of your comfort zone with the people you care about. It's funny, but taking risks with the people you care about actually helps you transform fear into excitement. So don't let fear inhibit you. Let fear push you forwards. I would now like to come back and talk about my own personal fears. I fear being ignored. I also fear that one day I will not be remembered. I fear that one day I will just be one of the many billion people on this planet. And I know what you're thinking. Jay, you're on a stage being live streamed. There are people in this audience. Someone's got to remember what you're saying. Oh, Jay, you have close friends and family as well. You obviously don't get ignored by them. But the reality is that not every fear can be explained. I know you might think it's irrational, but at the end of the day, it's individualistic and unique to me. But moreover, I also fear silence, which is why people who know me personally know me as a person who can't stop talking. There's literally an incessant amount of chatter around me. But more than that, what I try to do is I try to make fear push me towards being the person I want to be. You also know me as the extra person who volunteers to be part of every single event. As much as my parents hate me for it, I'm always in school. But more than that, I aspire to be someone who can give back to the community I am in. And also, I wish for my voice to be heard. So I simultaneously tackle two things at the same time. And for me, that's extremely important. Which is why I urge you all to make sure that fear doesn't inhibit you from what you're doing. Let fear drive you towards being the person you aspire to be and the person you want to be. So the next time you feel that fear is paralyzing you and it's preventing you from carrying on with a cool, calm, and collected mind, take a minute and think about where your fear stems from and why its presence or absence matters to you. As I said before, fear only has as much power over you as you allow it to have. So take the fear out of fear and try to reboot yourselves. Thank you.